Well, good evening. And the country faces a series of confusing moments, not knowing what to focus on and what not to, while it's been nearly 3 months of dealing with COVID-19 and putting politics in the back burner. Politicians are back at it. What do? Of course, the best thing that they always do every other time. And the boss himself is cracking the whip pretty hard. President Uhuru Kenyatta is focused on putting his house in order as he equally struggles to deal with the COVID-19 menace in the country. This, though, leaves the people asking, at what point will the interests of Wanjiku be met if politicking remains the top agenda for the leaders? And tonight, political commentator Ben Kimathi weighs in on whether the country is fit to politic as the world continues to battle COVID-19. And on Pledge Watch conversation, we go all the way to the coast. MCA of Chuda, ward in Mvita constituency, Honorable Tobias Samba is our guest tonight. Conversations that you certainly do not wish to miss. This is Pledge Watch with me, Linda Alela, right here on TV 47. But first things first, let's take a look at the highlights. 62 new COVID-19 cases reported in the last 24 hours, taking the national tally past the 1,300 mark. At least 6 people killed following in tribal clashes between the Maasai and the Kipsigis in Narok South. Plus, the clergy, CSS Fred Matiang'i and Mutahi Kagwe, failed to agree on whether to reopen churches or not, even after a fruitful day-long meeting. And tonight, we tell you how resilient Kenyans are making ends meet by converting their cars into mini kiosks after losing their jobs due to COVID-19. Welcome back. Remember, the hashtag is PledgeWatch. It's important that you interact with us. Let's get to hear what you have to say. At TV47 is the Twitter handle. At Linda_Alela, you can as well tweet me, and we get to sample some of your comments as we proceed with our show. Our sign language interpreter is Anne Wairimu. And let's kick off. At least 6 people have lost their lives and 13 others are nursing injuries following ethnic clashes that erupted in Narok South on Saturday between Maasai and Kipsigis communities. Fresh fighting continued to erupt as, of course, yesterday, despite government efforts to contain the clashes. Aaron Kipkoech with details.
Arrows and a bow in hand, ready to defend their community. Inter-community clashes between Kipsigis and Maasai communities, which have claimed the lives of 6 people and left 13 others nursing their injuries, and 15 houses reduced to ashes. These clashes started on Saturday at Ololaipangi in Narok South, and on Monday, the same clashes erupted in Oloposimorum, Narok North. Narok County Commissioner Samuel Kimiti condemning the clashes and warned that anyone who is found to be propagating the fighting will be arrested.
Na mkiangalia hii mchezo itatuletea hasara. Hatuwezi kurudisha maisha ya mtu ambaye amekufa kwa sababu ya vita ambao haina miguu ama masikio. Mali ile imeharibiwa, hatuwezi tunaharibu hata maisha ya watu wengine. Mama na watoto, wakati tulienda huko tunaona watoto wanahangaika, mama anahangaika, na wale wanapigana wanajidanganya ya kwamba ati anafukuza mwenzake. Hakubuki hata yeye wakati anakibizwa. Hii maneno ya kukibizana, ukikibizana na wewe unakibizwa na nyinyi nyote mnahema. Wakati unalenga mwenzako mshale, hata yeye anakulenga. Kwa hivyo mnaendelea na kumaliziana. Na hiyo ndio sababu tumesema kama viongozi hatuwezi kukaa hapa mambo ikiendelea namna hiyo, na tutahakikisha ya kwamba usalama umedumishwa.
Narok County Governor Samuel Ole Tunai is calling the two communities to live in harmony, urging them to use legal ways of solving their differences rather than causing inter-community conflicts.
Jamii ya Maasai na jamii ya Kalenjin na jamii zingine zote ambaye siko katika kaunti hii walikuwa wameishi pamoja kwa miaka nyingi zote kabla sisi zote hatujazaliwa. The two communities have been coexisting all this time, and therefore I want to call upon the two communities that the same way they have been coexisting together, tunataka waendelee kuishi pamoja vile walikuwa naishi kwa wakati yoyote.
The conflict was sparked by an alleged cases of cattle rustling in Orarua area in Narok South. Aaron Kipkoech, TV47.
Thank you, Aaron. Now, in the past 24 hours, the country has recorded 62 new cases of COVID-19, bringing the total number to 1,348. And as Lydia Kashomo reports, traffic at the Namanga and Malaba borders has started to flow after hitches at the border posts were resolved.
At the COVID-19 daily briefing on Tuesday, Health CAS Dr. Rashid Aman announced an increase in COVID-19 positive cases by 62. 23 new cases have been reported at Nairobi County, 6 of the cases from Umoja area, 6 others from Kibra, 3 from Isli, and 2 from Dagoretti North, Langata and Westlands. Starehe and Embakasi East had 1 case each. 16 cases were recorded at Mombasa County, 9 of the cases from Changamwe, 3 from Jomvu and Nyali consecutively, and 1 case recorded at Mvita. 6 cases are from Kiambu County, with 5 from Lari and 1 from Ruiru. 6 other cases were reported at Kajiado County, 4 of the cases from Kajiado Central and 1 case from Kajiado East. 3 other cases were recorded at Miambani Village in Kitui County. Dr. Rashid says that most people have avoided being tested of COVID-19 with the fear of being quarantined, which comes at a cost.
The cost of testing, quarantine, and treatment in a government facility will be fully met by government. Any information to the contrary is false and is aimed at misleading Kenyans. I'm therefore appealing to all to come forward and be tested.
Transport CS James Macharia has confirmed that they have had a sit-in with the Tanzanian Transport Ministry to chart the way forward on the challenges experienced at the borders.
We signed an MOU confirming that we had agreed on the testing protocols. For us as a country, we insisted that anybody coming through our borders had to be tested using the agreed international WHO standards, which is what they call the PCR protocols. And so that was agreed, and that's why from last week on Friday, the trucks carrying cargo, essential services, started flowing through the border with Tanzania.
The CS East African Community, Aden Mohammed, has added that action has been taken on the truck drivers who blocked the Malaba border, halting movement at the border.
So it is a time to actually exercise patience on everybody's side. This is an unusual time. People's emotions can run high. But what I think is not acceptable is to block the entry point of Uganda through the vehicles that we get from Mombasa entering into Uganda through the port of Malaba. That is something that will not be accepted.
More than 5.5 million cases of COVID-19 have been reported worldwide, with about 2.2 million recoveries and more than 300,000 deaths. Lydia Gashomo, TV47.
And now, calls by religious leaders to reopen churches seem to be bearing fruits after church leaders met with the government to deliberate on the matter. And as Eli Lugova reports, the date and measures to be used are still unknown, meaning religious activities will have to wait until a later date when the decision will be made.
A meeting that took close to 2 hours was meant to address issues around the opening of churches after calls from church leaders on the government to consider reopening the house of worship. Led by Bishop Philip Anyolo, the church leaders say they have agreed on a number of issues touching on COVID-19 and religion.
We have had quite good discussions, and we know and appreciate that the church together with the state have to work together so as to address such like issues that affect the soul and the spirit and the physical human person who form together a community, now the community we call our country, Kenya.
Interior CS Fred Matiang'i noted that the government will continue to engage the church on issues of COVID-19 and more on measures to be taken in case the government considers reopening the churches.
As you know, in this war against COVID, we are moving towards a time when we have to make several decisions, and His Excellency the President wants to be sure that we are all moving together and that we take into account the advice we get from our church leaders particularly, especially because we know that they are not just church leaders, they are also community leaders, and they engage on a day-to-day basis with many of our people. It has been a worthwhile afternoon. We've learned a lot from them, and as you have heard, we pledge that we will continue to work together even as we approach the difficult decisions we have to make.
The church leaders are, however, calling upon all Kenyans to observe the set regulations meant to curb the spread of COVID-19.
As we appreciate that the graph is going up, but gradually we know that the efforts are being put in to bring it to level. And this can be done if all of us agree, first and foremost, to follow the instructions that we have from a human point of view, taking care of our health, keeping our social distances, being mindful of one another.
The meeting that involved Interior CS Fred Matiang'i, Education CS George Magoa, their counterpart Mutai Kagwe, together with the church leaders, provided hopes of reopening churches, though the date of reopening and measures to be taken were not conclusive. The wait continues. Eli Logova, TV47, Nairobi.
Now, Taekwondo champion Vincent Ochieng usually trains in school sports halls in Kisumu City. Instead, he is working out with hundreds of others on the gritty surface of his city's biggest highway flyover. As sports training facilities were closed in March as part of measures to contain the spread of the novel coronavirus, leaving athletes like Ochieng, who was looking forward to representing Kenya at the World Taekwondo Championships in China in October with nowhere to train. Lydia Kashomo reports.
It is one of the busiest motorway flyovers which cuts through Kisumu near Lake Victoria. All gyms and all other sports training facilities were closed in March as part of measures to contain the spread of the coronavirus. This left Evelyn Akinyi and others with little choice but to find somewhere to train. The 27-year-old welterweight started boxing 5 years ago. It took sheer grit and determination to win a place in the national boxing team. Evelyn is convinced that staying physically fit will help her and others fight off the virus.
Wazidi tu kutrain, wasiogope ati corona juu ukitrain vizuri ugonjwa mingi hezi kushika. Vincent Ochieng trains here with his daughter Stacy. He expected to be competing for Kenya at the Taekwondo World Cup in China later this year. Instead, he is working out on the gritty, polluted flyover.
This year we were planning, and that's why I'm training. That's why I'm here today. We are planning to represent our country in October. That's in China World Cup, Taekwondo World Cup. But unfortunately, this COVID-19, we don't know itaisha lini. We are just praying and hoping itaisha before that time.
Not everyone in Kisumu is happy with their presence outdoors though, especially as many of the participants are not wearing masks. The government has also asked people to avoid gathering in groups. That is not the case with this group.
They will give us this disease, they will still spread it more. If an individual, if one of them maybe has been affected, coming to train here with, I don't know, 5 or 10, it is nonsense. I don't see the meaning of that training in this area. If I know I've been told that I stay at home, let me stay at home.
But Vincent says it is impossible to train at his home. He has lost his work in schools as a taekwondo teacher. He knows that without maintaining a training program, he has little chance of winning more medals.
This is what I do best. It's my life. I survive through taekwondo. I'm a teacher. I teach taekwondo in schools and in halls. And when the schools were closed, the halls were closed, everything changed. Our life became hard. We can't survive. There is no way we can survive. There is no way you can train your kids. There's nowhere you can train your client. So we'll ask government to come up and support sportsmen and women, because this is what we do.
These early morning training sessions continue to attract hundreds of residents of Kisumu, including basketball players, footballers, and even dancers. They say they have no choice but to come here. There is nowhere else to train. Lydia Gashomo, TV47.
Well, amid the difficulties, we say we have to soldier on, and such also is the next story that I'm about to take you through. And more Kenyans are starting to operate small businesses out of the boot of their cars to make ends meet, as the coronavirus crisis has hit jobs and the economy. Tracy Mukami with more.
This makeshift stand is not the ideal kitchen for a chef. But Boniface Mbogwa, who lost his catering job, is trying to make lemonade out of the bitter lemons served by the COVID-19 pandemic. He drives his car to markets to sell food to traders to make enough money to feed his children.
My boss dropped me from work and I had to find something to do for my family since our hotels are not open at the moment. And with that forthcoming, I had to come here and start a business, start something small for my kids and something that I can get a few shillings for my family.
Many Kenyans have lost their sources of livelihood as COVID-19 continues to cripple businesses and economies across the world.
Most of us here are low-income earners, and so because our jobs were affected, we came here and we've started these new businesses, the groceries.
While these roadside kiosks are provisional, the businesses are not temporary, with owners intending to continue the businesses post-COVID-19.
If Corona ends, we go back to our job. We will still do this job because it has helped us to get some food, our daily bread, and we appreciate.
The disease has devastated crucial sectors of the economy like tourism and farm exports. Tracy Mokami, TV47.
All right, well, that's pretty much a cool story right there, and I think it's commonly what is happening across most of the streets, across most of the small places that you go through, and different parts of Nairobi as it stands right now. And I think on that very note, it's important that we take a short breather, but not to forget that we are coming back with great interviews that are outlined for you. Remember, we'll be talking about the issues of matters politics right here in the country, the Jubilee purge, and probably the likely purge that is set for other parties as we get to have a lawyer, then Kinoth here, trying to put perspective as to what could have informed that particular move by President Uhuru Kenyatta's party, that is Jubilee Party. So don't you go anywhere. Remember, it's important that you equally interact with us. We'll be right back. #PledgeWatch. welcome back to Pledge Watch. Remember, there's so much that is, of course, in store for you. Now we cross over to some bit of matters politics as we crack down on what exactly is taking center stage, right here in the country. In matters politics, the Jubilee Party cracking hard on some of its senators and much, much more. So the Jubilee Purge in the Senate continues, with the party announcing changes which appear to push out senators aligned to Deputy President William Ruto from key positions in the Senate committees. While announcing the changes, Senate Majority Leader Irungu Kang'ata says he has communicated the changes to the Senate Speaker Kenneth Lusaka.
Addressing the media after the party's disciplinary committee meeting, Senate Majority Whip Senator Irungu Kang'ata announced the ouster of DP William Ruto allied senators from the leadership of the key committees and replaced with perceived party loyalists.
I am loyal to the party. The party nominated me to the position I am.
In the changes, Senator Christopher Langat of Bomet has been replaced at House Business Committee by Nairobi Senator Johnson Sakaja. Langat also lost his post as Education Committee Chairman to Senator Alice Milgo. In the new purge, Voko Ruto allies Senator Samson Cherargei and Meru Senator Mithika Linturi were removed from Justice and Legal Affairs Committee. Their membership set to be filled by the Rakanithi Senator Kithure Kindiki and Bomet Senator Christopher Langat.
SBC, we are going to replace Senator Langat with Senator Sakaja. Change number 2 will be Powers and Privileges Committee. We are going to replace Senator Kang'ata, myself, with Senator Cherargei.
Meru Senator Mithika Linturi also lost his membership at the powerful Senate County Public Accounts and Investment Committee and replaced by Senator Fatuma Dulo. Laikipia Senator John Kinyua will also lose his position as the chairman of the Devolution Committee. Elgeyo Marakwet Senator Kipchumba Murkomen will now be member of the Devolution Committee.
Senator Kinyua will cease being the chairman of Devolution Committee. Senator Linturi will cease from being a member of PAC and also vice chair of Legal. Dr. Langat will also cease from being the chairman of Education Committee, and also Senator Cherargei will cease from being the chairman of Legal Committee.
The changes, according to Kang'ata, have been communicated to the Senate Speaker Kenneth Lusaka for immediate implementation. This comes even as Party Secretary General Raphael Tuju insists that party loyalty is key and disrespect to the party leader won't be tolerated.
And I want to make it very clear, very, very clear, that our party constitution will be adhered to. I want to make it also very clear that we are going to be not very merciful when it comes to the discipline in the party.
The party is yet to make an announcement of the replacement of the Deputy Speaker after Kithure Kindiki was ousted in a special sitting last Friday. Already the Jubilee Party having effected its changes in the Senate. Now all eyes are on the National Assembly to see who loses which seat and who gains which seat in the recent coalitions. Elizabeth Mutuku, TV 47, Jubilee Headquarters, Nairobi.
And now, lawyer Ben Kinuthia, lawyer, of course, and governance expert, joins us this evening on Pledge Watch to decipher what really could have informed that move by Jubilee Party. But first things first, Ben, if you can hear me, we then ask, is the country set for politics amid this time as we're dealing with COVID-19?
Thank you very much, and a very good evening to you. I hope you can see me clearly. I hope you can hear me well.
101%.
Okay, perfect. Now, I think what's happening in the party is not strange at all. Mm-hmm. In the United States of America, they have something they call the mid-year elections. And usually after 2 years of a president in office, we have something that happens that is close to a mini election. Mm-hmm. So what's happening is not new. What's happening happens in many nations and in very many democracies, including the United Kingdom, where they even expunge people who appear not to be toeing to the party line. So in terms of it being a democratic process, it happens around the world. It happens in post-Commonwealth nations. So I would say that is okay. That is in tandem with any parliamentary system of governance or any system that does have an element of parliament running the affairs of any nation.
How in tandem would you term that when you clearly see that it's probably targeting members of Tanga Tanga who are allied, or so it is said, to the deputy president?
Interesting. You see, we are living in very interesting times where it appears the government has got opposition within itself. And I wouldn't know where the problem that would be. But in my thinking, you see, if any of you has not had one partner for the last 2 or 3 years, you shouldn't expect stick together for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So if you ask me, it's a reflection of ourselves. You see, have different friends or partners for that matter, and they would expect the party to stick together forever for so long. These people are not even married for that matter. So I wouldn't be surprised if at any point it got to the point where they do not agree and they don't appear to be working together.
Lastly, is that a polite way of telling us that the die is cast for the DP?
Well, I mean, these guys have made their bed. They might as well want to lie on it anyway.
So what would you advise him? Resign, wait for impeachment, stay put and wait for the worst?
No. I think kwa siasa hutaki kukaa kwa kichaka. In my opinion, the DP should stay put. He should remain there. He should continue to stay in government and not leave government. Let things play out as they should and wait for 2022. It's too early for him to even contemplate leaving.
All right. Thank you so much, Ben Kinuthia. We all are eagerly waiting to see what will play out in regards to that. But most importantly, of course, we then ask whether indeed the interest of Wanjiku will be met on the same. And I think it's important then that we also take a short breather. And then we come back with much, much more. Well, welcome back to the program. Time for that conversation of the night right here on Pledge Watch. And now, the MCAs are pillars of devolution and should maintain close contact with the electorates. They should constantly consult them on issues before or under discussion in the county assembly. A majority of them, though, likely, like any other politicians, will disappear once elected, only to reappear 5 years later, seeking for re-election. So Pledge Watch strives to remind the leadership of its core mandate by putting them to task on promises they made. We ask what they have fulfilled, what they have not, and why. So tonight, Chuda MCA Tobias Samba is on board as he represents his people. As expected is what we'll be asking. Remember, Chuda Ward is in Vita constituency and one of the sub-counties ravaged by COVID-19. So we shall have the conversation with the MCA or the area MCA here tonight. So welcome on board once again. Remember, it's important that you interact with us. Hashtag Pledge Watch. And Mushimiwa, are you there?
Yes, I'm there. Thank you so much, Linda.
Thank you so much. How are you this evening?
I'm good, and you?
I am also doing very well, but of course, still having lots of questions in regard to COVID-19, and I think that should be our first question. Mombasa has about 424 cases reported so far. As of April 18th and as of today, Vita topped the list in COVID-19 cases in Mombasa. And of course, the number continues to go up. So Chuda sits in the constituency. What has the local leadership done to ensure that this is tamed or to address this?
Yes, Linda. Once again, I'm glad. I'm glad at least for today. It's my first time for such like an interview.
Oh yeah, thank you.
And as you've introduced me, I'm the MCA for Chuda Ward. Mm-hmm. And also I happen to be the chair for the Youth, Gender, Sports and Cultural Affairs in the Assembly. Mm-hmm. And as you just said, actually Mombasa has been hit hard, but not that much hard. I think when the COVID-19 started, our governor and the government of Mombasa, we came out strong, and the governor gave out a strong message that we were ready and able to deal with the COVID-19. Yeah. And so far, as we are all aware that part of Mombasa town has been declared, has been under curfew for some time for the containment, for the spread of the virus. Actually, the local leadership has tried. We have partnered with the local leadership, including the area MP, the governor himself, and well-wishers on board. And we also have a Shofco. Shofco, it's an NGO. We've done so many things. And when we realized that Mombasa has been hit, and when we first realized, we confirmed the first case in Mombasa, the government called for an emergency meeting, and several measures together with the government guidelines were discussed. And as a result, as I'm speaking to you, my ward has a isolation center. Technical University of Mombasa was done to be an isolation center, and we've tried to have water washing tanks, or rather tanks or baskets in most of the major entries of estates and slums and areas. We've also come up with the measures we gave out some of the sanitizers, right. And sensitization has also been going on. And Linda, my ward, the area that I represent, was the biggest slum. And right. Since we started dealing with the COVID-19 cases, I'm telling you, it hasn't been easy on us, and it hasn't been smooth on us. We have been trying. All and right. Despite us having those kinds of, still the number is still increasing on and on.
All right. But, of course, this creates more fears. And as it is, you say the numbers are increasing, much as you earlier on said that, of course, it's not as bad. And we then ask, about 75 or more % of the cases are local transmissions. So You said, of course, lots of sensitization has been done, but what sensitization has been put towards ensuring that people come out to test? Because, of course, there have been mass testing programs that have been put. But then again, we still have reports of apathy. I mean, sometimes some of them actually present false information. What is being done to ensure that people are out here testing?
Actually, Linda, the fear, initially there were some fears, and most of the people feared volunteering themselves to go for the test. And that one was as a result they were to cater for their own cost.
Right.
So that one made a lot of people to fear for the testing. And as a result of that, the county government of Mombasa, led by the governor himself, declared that anyone who would volunteer for the testing, the county government will cater for the cost. And the response was good. Actually, in my ward, Mheshimiwa Abdulswamad did we had some testing here for the 2 consecutive weeks. And as a result of that, that is why you can see the numbers and the actual result is coming out, because people have now given up themselves, they volunteered themselves to at least go for testing, so that at least when you know your status, it is better for you and for your family and for the surrounding around you.
Let's talk about the facilities briefly. And you mentioned that, of course, in your ward, there's an isolation center. I mean, we need to get to know the developments as it stands right now. And the biggest fear then would be Chuda Sub-County Hospital has not been in the best of shape for the longest of time, amid promises, of course, from you when you were, of course, trying to campaign and, trying to tell people the things that you're going to do, the things that you incorporated in your manifesto. So as we take a look at the health facilities, would you say that the people should be confident that indeed their health is well taken care of?
Yeah, actually, Linda, if you come to Mombasa, and the best hospital they'll refer you after Coast General will be Chuda Sub-County Hospital. And so many changes were done, and the facilities first uplift was also done. And the machineries, everything that was missing initially. I think for now, Chuda Sub-County Hospital is at a good position, a better place than before.
All right,
Yeah.
that's pretty much good. So any developments, something different that probably Mombasa County and your ward is doing towards ensuring that we deal with COVID-19? I mean, different from what has happened right from the word go.
Actually, you see, Linda, what they say that information is power.
Yeah.
And as I had stated before, that I represent the ward that is mostly the bigger area, or rather the larger area of it is is a slum. So we have taken an initiative, me as the area MCA, together with my staffs and the entire local leadership. We've been going around doing sensitization, and each and every time we are going around, we also arm ourselves with the sanitizers, face masks. So at least by people seeing us every now and then passing the same message, they're getting used to it, so that they see the sensitivity around the COVID-19. They're taking such measures, and I'm glad that for now it is quite different when it all started.
All right.
When it all started, there were some fears. There were some fears, and people were afraid. People thought that COVID-19 is a death penalty. Now, when we came also to realize that there are some recoveries that, when you follow the guidelines properly, you can recover from that. That one has also given out some confidence in people. So at least there is hope. So unlike cancer and other diseases that killer diseases, to us, we don't treat COVID-19 as a killer disease, but or rather it's just like any other disease or other infection that can be taken care of.
All right. You have mentioned that, of course, your ward hosts a slum, and we've seen slums across the world, having their standards elevated. We've seen them actually being transformed to big cities. I would doubt if, you would confidently stand to say that indeed, as a leader, you still view your ward as a slum area, yet there's nothing much that you're doing. So let's cross over to the matters of development. What are you doing to ensure that you transform Chuda to becoming a better place?
Actually, slums in my area, there is a plan, there is a scheme, that's a slum upgrade. Slum upgrade that is being led by, it is being championed by the county government of Mombasa Department of Housing.
Right.
And actually, as we speak, there were some of the construction that would have started by now, but not directly to slums. We were starting by, first of all, by uplifting, or rather facelifting the area, the houses that are being run by the county government, the ones we usually say at municipal houses. And then after that, we'll go to the slums upgrade, because the work plan is out and the plans are ready. We're just waiting for, there was some of the compensation that was supposed to be done, so that at least when you are evacuated, we just don't rubbish you like that, but at least there are some of the cash that you are supposed to receive. But we are yet to agree. We are yet to agree with the residents, so that we don't want it to backfire on us. We are still on the agreement process.
Okay, Mheshimiwa, as you agree, it becomes pretty much hard to get this transformation when you're looking at a situation where the roads are not in the best of shape. We do not have the best of markets. Of course, I mean, there's no leverage for small business enterprises. Security is questionable. You look at situations whereby the youths are grappled on matters, drugs. I mean, how best can you confidently say that you can win this fight and transform Chuda in the event that we still are struggling with such?
No, Linda, I don't know who told you that in Chuda we are struggling with the issue of insecurity. In Chuda we don't struggle with the issue of insecurity.
All right.
I don't know who told you that the roads in Chuda are bad. The roads in Chuda, the ones that are bad are under repair. And also,
that is the point. Yes.
Yeah, they are under repair, and we are also trying to come up with the small business entrepreneurs empowerment programs. That actually I'm very happy, because were it not for the COVID-19, at least we would have taken some steps ahead.
Yeah.
And also issues to do with the markets in Chuda ward, we don't have markets, but the supplementary budget for the 2019-2020 that we just passed recently, we are happy for now, because it will be catered for. It has been factored into the supplementary budget.
Right.
So as far as I'm concerned, the Chuda, it's a security issue we've dealt with, because we are working we are working in partnership with the national government, the Office of the Chief, Office of the OCS, Office of the Deputy County Commissioner. So in Chuda, the only challenge that we face as Chuda residents is job for our youths.
Yes, and what exactly are you doing to ensure that there is job creation when you look at a situation where there's been perennial cases of youths abusing drugs and engaging in...
Linda. When you talk about youths and joblessness, it seems that nowadays when you talk about youths, you can't fail to address issues to do with joblessness. And recently, as a fight to curb the COVID-19, the president gave out some manual jobs to be done within the areas, within the ward, within the county. And I'm happy the program took on well, and actually for now youths are smiling. And Linda, I don't want it to end there.
Right.
And that is why I'm trying to come up with a bill. The bill is somehow the same with the National Youth Service, but I'm contemplating to have Mombasa Youth Service, Mombasa County Youth Service. Mombasa County Youth Service might be just a replica of the NYS. But the main purpose of doing this, I just don't want after this pandemic, after the COVID-19, our youth should also go back at home and and start being jobless. No, I want the county government to accommodate the same youths who are there, so that at least the work should continue, because the work that they are doing, I don't think whether someone needs an experience to sweep. I don't think whether someone needs an experience to clear the drainage. So at least we should engage our youths every now and then. Yes.
All right. There's little knowledge about the funds that are at the disposal of the people of, respective counties, respective constituencies, respective wards. Poor knowledge of government affirmative action funds, WESO funds, county government business startup funds. I mean, what are you doing to ensure that the people of your ward, first of all, are able to access these funds that have been channeled towards helping them, and most importantly, are aware of the availability of the same?
Linda, the issues to do with the fund that will help youth develop, or will make youth at least to develop to upgrade their business, or rather. Linda, in each and every village, in each and every estate, in each and every area in my ward, I've tried to come up with a WhatsApp group that at least whenever there is a sensitization, there is something that youths should be aware, the message will be passed through all the WhatsApp groups. Number two, I've also tried to come up with an investment group. We call it YATI. YATI in full means young and ambitious children investors.
All right.
And actually that is my brainchild. That is my brainchild. And I thought it wise to bring the youth together. So you see, sometimes it becomes very hard to reach all youths at the same time. But at least if you can find each and every area leadership as far as youth groups is concerned, at least if you pass the information to them, at least the information will reach, even if not all, but most of them. So that is what I've tried to do so much. And also I've come up with a program and a plan that each and every weekend, even plan. I just walk randomly, and any day, anytime that I feel like I should be at a certain place, I'll just go alone and engage youths. And as per that, we have seen a lot of changes. We have seen a lot of developments. Who have accessed even some of the funds in different departments. And they are proud. They can say that through our Mheshimiwa, we were lucky to access all these funds. That is what I'm doing, Linda.
Okay, well, because of the interest of time, we'll not be able to take a look at some of the key things that you promised, and probably your people would feel like they have not been addressed. But I would ask this key question: in the next 2 years of office, what do you guarantee your people as it stands today? The issues of sewerage, they're still grappling with poverty and all that. I mean, how then do you affirm and confirm to them that this will be addressed before you end time in office?
Linda, actually, when we were starting, there is something that I did not tell you.
Yeah.
Linda, I'm the only MCA who had its manifesto, and I am the only MCA who launched his manifesto in the entire county. I don't know whether in the entire country or county, but in our country, I'm the only MCA who had his manifesto. And Linda, as every morning when I go to the office, I am an MCA who reports to the office at 7 exactly. I'm in the office, and every morning when I go to the office, Linda, the first thing that you'll find on my table is my manifesto. And my manifesto, I just failed to tell you, I have done it. I have fulfilled it 75%.
75%, okay.
75% matters to do with sewage system, sewage whatever. I have dealt with them, and I'm very, very thankful and grateful to the county government of Mombasa. We have worked together. We've been cooperating well, and Linda, I'm telling you, in the next 2 years, even if there is nothing that I'll do, but at least 75%, I think, can guarantee me a second term.
All right, that can only be confirmed by the people of your ward, but all the same, if it is so, then we say congratulations, because that is our core mission right here on Pledge Watch, where, of course, we take a look at the promises that have been made, whether they've been achieved. If not achieved, we question why. If achieved, then we celebrate that. Chuda MCA, all the way from Vita constituency, Mombasa County, thank you so much for your time. Briefly, in a minute or so, we can allow you to say something as we get to wind up. Your parting shots.
Yeah, my parting shot, Linda, is just I was given 5 years. I've consumed 3 years. They should wait for more goodies for the coming 1.5 year, because not actually one and a half year, for the coming 1 year, because the 1 year that is left will be for us to campaign. So in the next 1 year, I would like to finish my work in the coming 6 months, or rather 7 or 9 months. Then the rest, I'll just leave for them to ascertain, to assess whether I'm able for another term or they will fire me home. But I'm praying that they should give me another term so that I may finish all my projects and the promises that I promised to the people. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Honorable Tobias Samba. You just pulled your campaign right here, so I'll be sending my invoice all the way to you. That is from TV47. Thank you so much for your time. But not before we take a look at this interesting story. Now, the donkey is known as the beast of burden because of its ability to carry or pull heavy loads. But for one Peter Muchama, the donkey is his source of milk. He has been milking his donkey for the last 6 years, not only for his domestic use or consumption, but also for sale. Zablon Macharia reports.
We meet Peter Muchama on phone.
Masaa jioni kukamua ni 6. Saa 12 ya.
No one can tell who he is speaking to and the reason for the call.
Sasa huyu mtoto kama anaanguka ni ugonjwa wa kifafa. Kuna moja nilipona wa kifafa. Na yeye mtoto alikunywa mwezi moja ndiye alikunywa akapona.
Donkeys all over the world are known for carrying load, pulling the plow and other domestic chores in the most ideal situation. In Watalam area, we meet Peter Muchama on his daily routine of fetching water for sale. Muchama says he has been doing this work for the last 14 years, which has enabled him to fend for his family all that while.
Na mimi niko na watoto 3. Huwa nalipa school fees na hii. Na somesa watoto, huwa nalipa school fees, nalipa nyumba, bado niko kwa nyumba ya kukondisha. Kila kitu kwa nyumba, chakula ni hii kasi tu.
Other than using his donkeys for fetching water for sale, Muchama also milks his donkeys. According to Muchama, he got the courage to milk his donkeys after learning that residents of Naivasha milks them, and since then he has been milking 1 liter per day. It's noon and Muchama is ready for the milking process. Before he commences the exercise, he sanitizes the milking equipment and the udder of his donkey. After milking, we went ahead and boiled the milk. And then, out of sheer curiosity, I decided to taste it. After drinking the glass of donkey milk, I was offered a second glass of milk. Peter Muchama says, after milking his donkey for at least 2 years, he was told that donkey milk has a medicinal value. Peter's neighbor Masa Motira tried the milk on a sick baby and now say he has seen improvement.
Akawa kuniambia nitumie hii maziwa ya punda. Nimeitumia kwa muda wa wiki moja na nimeona tofauti kubwa sana kwa mtoto wangu. Kwa vile kama ni kutoa ile sauti mtoto akilala kuna ile sauti alikuwa anatoa, saa hii hatoi.
We however wish to warn the medicinal value of donkey milk is not clinically proven. According to Dr. Dennis Bahati from African Network for Animal Welfare, donkey milk is beneficial to infants who cannot breastfeed for one reason or another.
International research has actually shown that there are specific benefits to it. But in terms of narrowing down and saying that, yes, it's a cure maybe for pneumonia in kids, I think more research needs to be done on that, and just to show that, yes, it can actually be used for such reason.
Peter Mushama has been milking the donkey for the last 6 years now. Zablon Masharia, TV47, Nairobi.
Well, if you didn't know, now you know. I doubt whether Zablon really took that milk, but interesting times and things that will be shown all the same. And thank you so much for your feedback. I can imagine what Jan Dawood was sort of feeling while she saw that. She says, boy, God have mercy on us. And Marco Molo watching from Wagusu, Bondo, Siaya County. We hope this vanishes. It should be COVID-19. Kipemuinga Teach says watching live in Konoine, Chebangang. Some places though. And we also have Collins Kemoli says pamoja na familia yangu kutoka eneo hilo la Vukatsa nafuatilia TV47. Naomba serikali kuu ikumbuke watu wa Ileho. And Muhammad says shukrani sana MCA wetu, tunashukuru kwa yote ambayo umefanya na tunaomba ukazidi kuendelea na kazi nzuri ambayo unafanya. Na kuna maswali hapa ambayo tumetumiwa kuhusiana na mambo ya CHUDA, lakini kwa sababu tayari mheshimiwa ameshaondoka, we'll not be able to sample them, but then again we'll certainly get to send the questions to him. Thank you so much for your feedback. It was great having you this evening. And of course, Pledge Watch ends right there. Looking forward to see you again next Tuesday. My name is Linda Alela. Do have yourself a lovely evening. My sign language interpreter, or our sign language interpreter, was none other than Anne Wairimu. Ciao.